Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44. So, what I want to try to do, since I have time today, is to just look at all the matchups and just talk as much as I can about them. Now, I haven't watched a whole lot of basketball this year, so you're not coming to me for facts. You're not coming to me because I'm somebody that's been watching and knows everybody's everything at this point. Because if you've been following me recently, I just haven't had the time to watch basketball, etc. So, I'm kind of going by what I know in terms of fantasy basketball, following each and every player as it pertains to their stats, and just an outside looking in view of teams based on what I know about them right now. So that's what we're going by here. That's my disclaimer before I start. So if people say, "Oh, there's some serious inaccuracies with how you're evaluating this, that, and the third," it's like, of course, I haven't watched. I talk about stuff I haven't watched, and I know that's like a golden rule that we should not do. But I kind of do that because I do have enough of an understanding about the rosters currently and the structure of games and how they're played to where I can kind of have an envision about what I think will happen. And I've been right enough times in my life doing this to where I actually believe I'm all right at these type of predictions. I'm okay at it. So that's why I'm talking about it. This is something that I've been right about doing it this way. Okay, so the team that this video is going to be about is the Utah Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm so intrigued by this series. So very intrigued by this series. And the reason why is because the Utah Jazz have been the best team all year long in the Western Conference. But I don't think too many people actually believe in them. Not really believe in them. And Donovan Mitchell's been hurt for the last several weeks. Like, he's been out maybe for about 3 weeks in a row. I don't think he's played a single game since. He might have played the last game, but I don't think he did. In fact, no, he didn't. So, or did he? I don't know. He may have played the last game of the season, but the point is, he's not 100% back yet. And he was supposed to be back 2 weeks ago, but for whatever reason, they decided to continue to delay his return for a week. And then at the end of that evaluation week, they delay it another week. Like, that's what's been going on there. So they're missing, obviously, their star. Or their co-star, of course, Rudy G is the other guy. And they're going up against a Memphis Grizzlies team who isn't actually their record. And there's a couple teams in these playoffs like that. You're going to probably hear me say that throughout the series of videos. Because this team is not their record at all. What the Memphis Grizzlies are is a team who started the season without guys, dealt with health and safety protocol issues with guys going in and out of their lineup, and still found a way to find themselves in the play-in situation and was able to win both of the play-in games that they played, meaning this team is on fire right now. They're hot, and they've overachieved. They beat the Spurs, who I could argue could have beat them. On paper, you would think the Spurs probably win that game. And then they went into Oakland, and Ja Morant dropped 35 on Steph and sent him home. After the Lakers gave Golden State all they can handle, Memphis came in there and knocked them off and earned their way into the 8th spot to play the Utah Jazz. Memphis is surging and Utah is limping. I don't think this series is going to be the easiest thing for the Utah Jazz. And this is my thing. Utah, on paper, should still win the series. But I think most people are going into this series thinking that the Memphis Grizzlies are something that they're not. That's my interpretation of the circumstances that they're headed toward. If people have been paying attention, what you have here is Dylan Brooks is playing well. Ja Morant has found his scoring touch. Jackson, JJ, is back after being out pretty much all season up until maybe like 3 weeks ago, where he just got back. He is a 3-and-D, not 3-and-D, but more so two-way, defensive-minded power forward with long arms and the ability to run the floor as well as anybody. He is your quintessential 4-5 in this era because he can shoot the ball and he's creating opportunities to bang and getting stronger, not shine from contact in any way. He's good on the glass, getting better on the glass every day, and he's fantastic blocking shots. He runs the floor like the wind. Think of a guy like Tristan Thompson with an offensive game. That's what this guy reminds me of. Dad played in the league. He's a guy who's going to be an all-star in this league at some point. And they just got him back into the lineup. What that also means is he's been gone for a while. So what you have is players who've been in his stead who have gotten a lot better because of the experience that they've had playing without him. Guys like Tillman, you know what I mean? You're going to see Valanciunas has been balling out of his mind all year long. Maybe the most underrated player of the season this year. Somebody I severely slept on in fantasy basketball. Didn't draft him once, and he went off all year long. And he's been playing great like this since he got to Memphis. You know, that turned out to be a very good trade for them, trading Marc Gasol for him. That was a good trade. They won that trade. So I look at the Memphis Grizzlies. They got bigs, they got smalls, they got players all up and down the roster that are capable, who are used to bigger responsibilities and they're forced to play right now that everybody's back. And they're deep. They're well coached. They play defense. They don't shy. And this is one of those situations where I say, man, if Dylan Brooks is dropping 25, 30 points, and John Moran is dropping 35, Utah's going to have to score with this team. Now, they got some guys. Obviously, I don't want to poo-poo on Utah. Utah is the better team of the two. You got Jordan Clarkson, who's going to be the sixth man of the year. You got Rudy Gobert, who's going to create a lot of problems for a guy like Valanciunas and JJ. He's going to create problems for those guys. But here's the deal. This isn't the greatest matchup for Utah. Why? Because Rudy Gobert isn't going to have a whole lot of sway against all these damn bigs that Memphis is going to throw at him. See, that's what you're going to run into with Memphis. Valanciunas is going to give problems to Gobert. JJ's now out there. He's going to give problems to Gobert. And they got other guys too. You know what I mean? So when you consider them, and I haven't even mentioned Brandon Clark, who's really one of those players who hasn't found his rhythm yet in this league, but his skill set and his size makes it so that his upside is insane. Just absolutely insane. You're talking about a guy with a power forward's body with guard dribbling skills. You know what I mean? Like an ability to, he plays like a guard, but he's built like a big small forward or undersized power forward. You know what I mean? So this is somebody who Memphis has had a hard time trying to figure out a role for because of what all that he does, and the inconsistency of his play makes it so that from week to week, game to game, you really don't know exactly what he's going to give you. But when he's on, he's like a star. Like Brandon Clark can be like a star in this league if he ever puts it all together. So he's somebody that Utah's going to have to deal with. This is his first playoff, so I think that the lack of experience is going to work in Utah's favor. But I'm telling you, without a healthy Donovan Mitchell, and you got confident players over there in Memphis, this thing can go the distance. I fully expect this to go 6 or 7 games. And to be honest with you, with everything that I've been saying here, Memphis feels like the team that's going in with the urge, with the most momentum, in my opinion. Now, granted, obviously Utah has home court advantage, and Utah high altitude, that may be a thing. But at the end of the day, the Memphis Grizzlies are a team with not a whole lot to lose. Not a whole lot to lose. Not a whole lot of people believing in them. And they're, like I said, they're hot. This is a team that is playing well at the right time. So, I don't know. Like I said, I think this goes about 6 or 7. I'm going to stick to my guns and say that the team with home court advantage will ultimately win in 7. I think Utah will ultimately, the way they're going to win this series is by outshooting the Memphis Grizzlies like crazy. Memphis tends to go flat defensively at times. They're not the greatest defensive team despite having pretty solid defensive players. They really do not play great D. So I think that Utah is ultimately going to be able to run it up by shooting the ball just like they've been shooting it all year long. The thing about Utah is they have a set system that works for them. And they just continue to use it. And whether it's Donovan Mitchell out there or not, they got guys that are just going to continue to go to work. You got the Bogdanoviches, you got the Jordan Clarkson, you got obviously Mike Conley, and pay very close attention to Mike Conley because obviously he's played his entire career with the Memphis Grizzlies. So as he plays for the Utah Jazz now, he's going to be going up against his old team. I expect him to want to show up and show out This is going to be an especially intense series for Mike Conley, so pay very close attention to him. I would not be surprised at all to see him hit a game winner in this series or something of that nature, because that's just how things go. So don't be surprised. You heard it here first. Won't be surprised if Mike Conley's a hero of this entire series. But nevertheless, they're going to need him to play well. The Utah Jazz cannot win this series if Mike Conley clams up and is not himself. Okay, I'm going to say that right now. I love Jordan Clarkson, but he's going to have his hands full if Donovan Mitchell ain't out there 100%, because Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks are coming. And with the healthy JJ and Valanciunas playing like an all-star, Utah's in trouble. I'm telling y'all, this is not one of those series 1-8 matchups that you just say, oh, yeah, no, this is easy. It's not. And I know Memphis is supposed to be a bad team, but the way they beat the Golden State Warriors it's not happenstance. That was not by mistake. This is a better team than you think, and they're in this position for a reason. So we're going to see. Donovan Mitchell's going to have to be right. You know what I'm saying? That's, at the end of the day, I think it's truly going to come down to him. If he's if he can get out there and be his old Donovan Mitchell self and start dueling it out with Ja Morant and win that matchup, yeah, Utah's out of here. They're going to win that series. But if Ja Morant is going off like he did against Golden State, and they don't put the clamps on that dude, I think this goes Memphis' way. So, yeah, my final analysis, Utah in 7. But I ain't putting no money on that. I'm not doing that at all. My name is BDF44. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.